Okay, I got a 2017 Toyota Highlander, and it's making a clunking noise on a sharp left and right hand turn. Well, more the left hand turn. So I replaced the CV axle, and I thought that was the problem. So it wasn't the problem. I'm going to do this video to help somebody else out if they ever encounter this. So this is a pre-video right now of what it sounds like, and I have not figured out what it is. I have no idea. It sounds like a CV axle to me. I'm gonna drive it here quick. I'm in the car, it's running, I'm in a parking lot. I'm gonna do a little circle, and hopefully the audio will pick up on the clunking. Actually, I'll roll down the window to maybe help it. Shut off the air conditioning, try to get rid of any other sound so it'll pick it up. But yeah, here we go. Not yet. You gotta give it a little gas, kind of a sharp turn. Alright, so now it's not cooperating very well. Let's do it again here. Okay, that one should have been pretty dramatic. I had the wheel cranked all the way to the left. Give it some gas. And you can really hear it go. So anyways, this is kind of, there's definitely, I'm going to add another clip in here to hopefully figure it out. I think I'm going to have to go to a shop and see what somebody has to say, but I did replace the driver's side CV axle with the OEM Toyota CV axle, because there was no way I was going to put a $100 aftermarket one on this. So okay, to be continued. All right, this is part 2 of the Highlander 2017 Highlander axle. So I have now replaced the passenger side CV axle, and it did fix that issue. So this vehicle is a hybrid, and it has about 217,000 miles. If anybody's curious, you know, what mileage mine went out at, that's just, you know, for a reference. So doing the driver's side CV axle wasn't too bad. Okay. Doing the passenger side CV axle, you would think would be very similar, which it is very similar. However, the passenger side one is about a foot longer. So on that extra foot, there is a bearing that holds it. There's a bearing, and then there's a carrier for that bearing that bolts to the engine block. Okay. And apparently this is a problem on so many Toyotas, where that bearing gets rusted onto that carrier. And that is the issue I had. This car is from Wisconsin. It's from the Rust Belt. So that bearing was totally frozen in that carrier. I now live in a desert, so I'm glad for that. But also, did I say this one's a hybrid, and there's gonna be variations here that I didn't understand until I started getting into this. So if you don't have a hybrid and you have 4-wheel drive, it's gonna be different, because that transfer case is in the place of where that axle is. So let me try to explain this. On the front wheel drive and the hybrid, you don't have that transfer case. So what I did is I got under the car with a Sawzall, and I chopped that axle off in between the transmission and that bearing. And then you can just pop that part off and pull that. It wasn't too bad with the Sawzall. It took a couple blades. It kind of sucked because I was under the car, like I don't have a lift, so I just have to go, but it worked. So, however, if you have the all-wheel drive with that transfer case, you cannot just cut that axle in half. So and I don't exactly know, because I didn't do it, what the solution is for removing that carrier when you have the all-wheel drive model. So I don't know if it's, I mean, if you live in a dry climate, you're probably going to be able to get it out. I imagine the desert, the West, you're good. The East, you're probably not good. So, you know, down the East Coast, you know, Wisconsin, Michigan, all that stuff, you're gonna have a problem, and you might want to order that carrier before you even get the job done. I don't know how much they are. I mean, I got mine saved because after I cut it out and I had the bearing and that axle part still in, I just brought it to a shop to have them press out that bearing, because I don't have a press. So they just charged me like $50 to press it out, which is cheaper than buying a whole new carrier. I mean, the carrier is probably $100, but if you have the four-wheel drive model, non-hybrid, then I don't know if you'd sawzall off part of that carrier, and then I don't really know what the answer is on that one. But good luck. I hope this helps somebody. So I'll try to piece these two videos together, and thanks. Bye.